Welcome to Ren Behind the Practice. I'm Sophie Campisi. I'm a holistic business strategist and startup expert, and I spend a lot of my time in conversation with practitioners, coaches, and healers about the behind the scenes of their businesses. What I started noticing is that some of the most honest, important conversations about building a practice were happening quietly, one-on-one, behind the scenes, and often in isolation. Most practitioners are incredibly skilled at the work they do with their clients, but very few of us were ever taught or trained in how to build a successful startup business. And suddenly we've been left to figure it out on our own. This podcast exists to bring those conversations forward, the dreams, the uncertainty, the highs and lows, the recalibrations, and the messy middle. My hope is that by normalizing these conversations, we can soften the stigma, feel less alone, and start closing the gaps together. Today's guest is Iliana Lanuza. Iliana is a health and life coach based in Mexico who works with people going through life transitions. Iliana, it's great to have you here. Thank you so much for showing up and having this conversation with me today.
Thank you very much, Sophie. It's great to be here.
Before we look behind the scenes, can you share with us a little bit more about the work that you do?
Of course, I work with mainly teenagers and young adults, but also adults. They're going through, mostly women, but I have worked with some men. We're always going through transitions in our lives, whether we're like I said, teenagers, they're trying to figure out what's next, what to do, what to study, if to move or have a leap year or something. And as adults, as we enter the world of work or going through breakups, or we want to move to another country, or jobs, or life is in transition all the time. So I work with those that want to figure it out and just want sort of a bouncing board, and also through nutrition or going through Lost, or, and I center everything at the kitchen table. So we sit virtually or in person at the kitchen table, and in English or in Spanish. I can do it both. And just we arrive there, we center our lives and start the conversation. Just, and that simple organic space that we all have and we all know.
How long have you been doing this specific type of work?
For 2 years, mostly, and working with teenagers for longer. I used to, I teach still. I'm in that transition myself of going through becoming, being an English teacher and a photography teacher to coaching teenagers and adults. But because I've been teaching for longer, I've been teaching English for 5 years and photography since 2019. And I want to end up doing coaching only.
I was going to ask how you chose young adults, but you already answered it. You are a teacher. That's your connection point. Those are your people already.
I'm a sociologist, actually. I study sociology and I focus on food culture and habits. And I had my own restaurant for a long time. So I've been an entrepreneur for a very long time. I've been connected, well, not only me, but we're all connected to food. And I chose teenagers because I was a very troubled teenager and I lacked from guidance. And it's one of those stages that we don't open up as much, and also through transitions, we are afraid of what we're going to say, kind of thing. As adults, like I'm going through perimenopause. So also perimenopause is like one of those stages in women that keep us, like what is happening? Why are we feeling this way? So I guess I'm dealing with both of the same hormonal changes that teenagers go through and we go through.
Totally, which makes a lot of sense. And you mentioned, that you're going through transitions as well. Something that I've known, we all know this in some way, shape, or form, but now that I have the business strategy and startup expertise lens, I have even more context to the fact that we are absolutely, without a doubt, most suited to help people who are going through something that we're either going through currently or have already gone through in depth. And it's one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make a lot when they're trying to figure out the business side. They're very talented, they're very gifted, and then they go try to figure out the business side and they choose a target market that they don't have anything in common with. And they're well-meaning because everyone says, okay, pick a target market and do this work. But the hypothetical exercises or sitting alone and trying to figure that out on your own is one of the fastest ways to basically like crumble or disservice your business building process, even though we're well intentioned when we do it. And it's always, always who are your people already? Who can you talk to tomorrow just to have a coffee chat with? Just to say hi, just to say what's up. Who do you have so much in common with that every interaction is going to feel really authentic and natural anyway? So everything that you're saying, yeah, makes so much sense. And it's a great way to lay the foundation for building a sustainable business long term by starting with people or a population that you're deeply connected with already and also have so much in common with.
I'm helping now a girl here in person that she's 20 and she was lost about not knowing what career she wanted to go to, and she received like the normal pressure that we get at that age, that you should do something that makes you money. And I said to her, everything and nothing can make you money. So choose what you want to do. So I help her go through to the process of choosing a university, choosing a degree, going through the going to the exam, by herself. And I said, and I went through that by myself. I took the exam. I was in another country. It's just like that. And I was working in the hospitality industry. So it's sort of, there were many things connecting us. And she got accepted to one of the universities. Now she's applying to the university she wants to go to. So I pushed her. I just like, try it. What's the worst that can happen? That you lose the money for applying for it, but you went through the process yourself. And so I tried to give them the encouragement. Like, you can do it, and you can decide, because you're gonna spend enough time going through a degree that somebody else tells you to, and then at the end at 40 you're going to choose what you had to choose you wanted to choose at the first place. So you either do it now and make all the effort and find your way and find solutions for the problems you're going to encounter in the future, because you are going to encounter problems whether you choose something that you like or whether you choose something that you're told that it's going to make you money, it's going to pay the bills. So the problem is going to be there. You're not going to avoid a problem basically. So
Absolutely. When you look ahead to the next 6 to 12 months, what goals do you have for your work and for your practice?
to get more clients, obviously, but for my practice, I've been myself trying to do two things: becoming a writer, because I was told that I wasn't going to make any money. So you can find my writings, and as a sociologist, I analyze the world and I try to find, whenever I encounter a problem, I try to see it the sociological way. And I realize I have dogs, so I want to use them as therapy. So I want to take a course in animals and in coaching, how they can benefit. Because I also see when my clients come disturbed or they have an issue, or I have a border collie and a Frenchie mix. So they settle them down, they help them connect. So I want to use not I want to train me and train the dogs to help the practice become more integrated, to give them a space as well, to give the dogs a space to help my clients, either in person or in online, because they help me a lot. I They are my guidance, and they are my north. My animals are my north. So I would like to do that more with them, more intention.
When you think about, let's start with that first goal of getting more clients and building that flow and that momentum with your work and with your practice, what do you think you need to do to get there? Or do you feel like you're guessing?
I feel more I'm guessing, because if I publish on, or if I post on Facebook in groups, sometimes there's so many people posting and there's so much of the message going through. And I'm writing a lot more in Substack. That's where I getting the word out, sort of like, this is me. I keep posting. Not posting like what you do on social media, but more essays like who I am, what do I do, who I help, why I help them with more intention. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, this is something that is obviously I hear that more than not, which is, and also in my all of my intro speaking to this, which is like most or none of us were taught how to build startup businesses. We're so gifted, we're so talented, and usually we're so immersed in the work. We're so immersed in being of service and devoting our life to our North Star, our our life's path, our vocation. And then we get so focused on that. And then all of a sudden we hit a point where we're like, yes, like I am ready. I want to start helping people. I use that phrase, answer the call to be of service at, because it usually is like that. I mean, at least
Mm.
the people that I don't run into aren't like, I'm
No,
going to
no, no.
go out and go help
Yeah.
people.
I
It's
agree
like,
with you.
it's
And
like
the
answering a call.
and the satisfaction that it brings you, for example, knowing that this girl decided to go through visual arts instead of studying psychology because she was told that she could be a good psychologist. But I said to her, "Do you see yourself doing my job?" And then suddenly she's like, "No." And I said, "So don't do it. Do you like reading?" I love reading, but really technical sociological insights, and I have that calling. I've had that calling, besides being a writer. And she's like, "No." So I said to her, "So don't do it." And that satisfaction that I got of her driving, taking the bus to pay her tuition, the first, and she go, I already paid it. And I'm like, that having her on the other side of the phone saying, I did it and happy. And because, yeah, so it is difficult. And it's not the same as when I had the restaurant, when you have a restaurant, it's something tangible. It's something like, okay, here it is. It's a space. People are going to come. They're going to sit. They're going to eat. I'm going to offer, it's something real. You're going to eat it. It's something really physical. I mean, emotional and the whole thing, the experience of having a restaurant. But being a coach is very intangible. And your story, it's not, it's real, but it doesn't, you're selling an experience and a feeling, which is different.
It's very difficult to compared to a brick and mortar. Of course, brick and mortars are still hard. Entrepreneurship at all types is very difficult, but
Mhm.
compared to a brick and mortar, having a digital online based service business is very difficult. And it's a different playing field. You almost can't compare it. They're two different ball games. And so yeah, and so many of us are kind of blindsided because we're so immersed in the service aspect and the mission aspect of what we do. And then you and I talked about this briefly. It's like there's a certain point where like, wait a second, like I've done all this work and now I'm here to help people, but where are the people that I meant to help? Like I literally can't find them. And that's just so ironic and feels so backwards. And then we're kind of blindsided by this tangle and this conundrum and in this huge problem of not being able to figure out the business side, because the reality is that the business is the vehicle that takes our work into the world. It takes us deeper into our integrity, deeper into our mission. But at the end of the day, it is the thing that connects us with the people that we're meant to help. And it's has everything flowing. And if we can't figure that part out, if we can't be in harmony with that, at the end of the day, it's not just, oh, our business isn't working. It is very unfortunate, but we're not in our mission. Like we're not in our integrity. We don't get to live out the thing that we've finally tapped into as being our reason for being alive.
Exactly. And I think as coaches also, one of the other challenges that we get is that we're in service to people, and then we need to service ourselves as well. Like we need somebody to vent, somewhere to say, I don't know if I was doing it right, because people will say they will finish the program and thank you very much, and then suddenly you're like, did I do, like now I'm teaching a girl that has Down syndrome to get her grounds with food and cooking, and they don't communicate that much. And I'm like, am I doing my job right? Am I teaching her? She's only here for 3 days. Am I communicating? How should I communicate? How should I? And so as coaches, life brings you so many challenges all the time that you have to have this space where you're like, okay, did it right? Am I on the right path? Did the parents did okay? Did they like my work? Did they, you know, I don't know. It's a very thin line because as a sociologist, I'm not a psychologist and I'm not seen as a psychologist because I cannot give therapy, obviously, but I give a different kind of therapy because I'm a coach as well. So it blends. It's interesting. It's a really interesting blend.
Yeah, I mean, everything that you're saying, I fully, I get that. I get that so much from firsthand experience at the beginning, finding before we find that flow and that momentum with what we do, it can be really like, yeah, is it working? Is it working? I know I'm good at the work that I do, but like, is it working? And you need some volume at the beginning to get through some of these. Like, we can be brilliant. I was talking to someone about this the other day. Business is the actual ecosystem of a business has so many different pieces. It's part of what I teach people when I do my business builder lab with people. But you have to lay these foundations for the business. But expertise, when it comes to the actual business, is really just one small part of all of it working. So you can be so good and skilled and qualified, but that is not successful. Skill and genius and expertise does not equal successful business, sustainable business. It is like one, I
Of
never
the
worry. It's one small thing. I'm never worried about someone's skill and brilliance and if they're good at their work when I work with someone. It's never a question. It's never even crosses my mind because I know that they're good at what they do. Everything else also has to be in order. And what you said is also one of those pieces. This is what I was talking to this other person about. I think it was yesterday or the day before. We have to meet our clients where they are. So there's two huge pieces, even in every interaction. We're always a beginner with each new client, especially at the beginning. If we haven't gotten super specific and clear on our target market, it's what I call zone of impact. And we don't have our business foundations laid. We haven't hit that offer market match sweet spot. We're doing a lot of testing. We're in this space because we need to find a way. Part of what the startup phase is to translate it is we are seeking to translate our gifts to real market demand, like meeting people where they are. Then, what do we do with that on the business side? But everything that you're saying, it's real, it's the reality. That is business building. No matter
Mhm.
how qualified and expert you are in what you do, it's always going to look like that. It's always going to look uncertain at the beginning when you're trying to figure things out. You have new clients. Is it working? Is this the right thing? Is this the right offer? Is this the right da 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 da? All those things are real to the process.
But I also, what you said is very right. Every single client, and it's a new start. You're starting from the beginning with every single client that you have because everybody comes with a different idea in mind, with their own knowledge, with their own research. And they're going to go after they finish your session and do the research. And now with AI, they're going to go and try to do it. I use AI all the time. I don't have anything against it, obviously. And especially as a solopreneur, it's like your assistant, basically, right? And your editor and your everything. But you have to understand the clients are going to do that. So what are you giving them that the world they're not giving is not giving in to them? And also you have to be listening to them all the time. And then that you want to be there for them because at the end of the day, it is gonna be your voice they're gonna listen stronger than everything else, right? So and it's gonna make them feel listened to and cared for, and because it doesn't matter how AI tells them, they're gonna need someone human to go with them through the process of transition. In my case, to grieve, to hold their hands through a process. And even you're holding it virtually or in person, you're still helping them go through something. So whatever that is, Like my girl today, she left and had a smile, and I was like, oh my God, she smiled. I did right. Because they don't communicate as much, or she's a very shy girl, which I understand. It's a completely new environment for her. So, yeah, to answer that.
Totally. What has felt hardest or most unclear or most uncertain for you as you have been on this new path of solopreneurship with your coaching practice?
That I started to be a solopreneur as a restaurateur, and I was in the industry for 20 years. And in a way, I'm still sort of looking at it that way. And the restaurant industry, whoever has been in it, it's really hard. It's sort of I chose a really hard industry to a very hardest, another very hard industry, right? So I haven't left that challenge. And having something so tangible, and my restaurant was a farm to table seasonal restaurant, so it was already hard and niche at the start, and I had to try it totally and so on. So having that it was a very tangible thing with sociology and food politics grounded, as the background, as the philosophy with it, and taking that philosophy that I already know it worked, taking it to an online business, that's been the hardest transition, and also finding the people within the kitchen table that I wanted to help with, right? And so when I realized about 6 months ago that, or less, that I was in this huge transition in my life as a 40 something, 46-year-old, starting a new business, my new hormones, trying to move myself physically from Mexico to another country, so all these things, I was in transition. So I decided that because of my situation, I should walk with people that are going through that and leave the kitchen table, like the food in a way on the side, and feed people beyond the plate. So use food as a tool, but not as the main goal. So finding that part, it took a long time for me. And return to writing in a way. I mean, really take writing as the tool instead of cooking, So, yeah.
What else? Was there anything else that has caught you off guard in terms of the hardness and what's different from having a brick and mortar business to now this online base? Although I know you do some things in person, but
Uh,
this different type of service provider business model?
Setting boundaries. Setting the boundaries and setting rules, obviously. That's the same. Yeah. And tell them how do you really work? And saying, this is what I really want, and this is the price because I'm worth this. Not because you're not going to find it anywhere, but because I will walk with you and I'll give a lot of me in the sessions. So setting those boundaries, I think it's one of the hardest things as well. Because restaurants, it's very logical, no? There's a time where you open, there's a time. There's it's already written, people know it. But everybody works differently. And understanding that sometimes you have to give certain things up. Or, for example, this girl she's afraid of dogs, so I had to put my dogs away. So that's okay. But yeah, and letting them respect your boundaries. And it's okay for them to sign a little piece of paper understanding them. It's like, this is the way I work. It's okay.
Totally.
Yeah.
If you could wave a magic wand and have one thing solved or fixed for you in this building process of your practice, what would it be?
Social media. I like doing my own portraits. I don't mind giving them content, but social media. I've been doing it for myself for a very long time. I just one of those things that I don't mind writing the backward, but posting it and having that continuously. And even though I'm helping somebody with their social media at the moment, because that also pays the bills, that I have to do on the side. But that's why I think I would like to have that magic wand that, okay, that's been solved. I don't have to deal with it.
Is there some aspect about the social media? Is it because it's kind of intended as a driver for client flow, or it's just simply the fact that it's a thorn in your side and you don't want to have to do it because you don't like doing it?
I don't like doing it anymore. I liked doing it, but just the fact that I have to, and Yeah. Yeah, it's just a thorn. It's just one of those things that I like doing it for other people, but for me, and now at this moment, I like doing it for my clients. But I don't know. It's just been, I've been doing it for long enough. And I love photography and I love the writing part, but it's just, I don't know. There's something, maybe it's just like me. It's just, I don't know. I think
It's not you. It's
it's
not
not
you.
me.
This is pretty much like definitely top three, but probably number one problem that people say, social media.
And I also think that nowadays I'm gonna write something in the next couple of days. I mean, it's gonna come out not this Friday, but the following Friday about how vulnerable we are as coaches out there in social media and how we can be attacked and how people don't spend the time anymore to really interact and read. So whenever you post something, you have to be so careful what you say because you're bullied online all the time. But you need to use social media to get your clients. Is this double sharp or how you call it? The double,
Double-edged sword is how we call
yeah.
it. Yeah, totally. And if it doesn't happen, if you're not able to get your work, your practice, your business to where you know the potential is for it and for you, what's the cost? What's the cost to you? What's the cost to others? What's the cost to the world?
For me, personally, I think I have a unique voice. I think we all have a unique voice, and somebody out there is looking for what we have to offer. And people will miss on the opportunity to be listened to and to really be seen. And I think we're in the middle. What I like about coaching is not this formality of being a psychologist or somebody. It's like your friend that's holding your hand. It's like an aunt that had no kids. I'm describing myself that went to trouble, went to hell, and came back, and it's healed. And it can tell you, give you a better insight. Don't go that road, So we will be missing about that other perspective of life, about another season, like taste. Yeah. And for me, well, I will have to find another thing, but I like sitting with people. I like listening to people and finding that puzzle, that piece of the puzzle that will fit and they were like, oh, I did it.
Iliana, thank you so much for joining me today to have this conversation. And for those of you who are listening, if any part of this resonated, you're in the right place, please reach out. I want to hear from you. And if you want to reach Iliana directly, the link to her Substack is in the show notes. Thank you again, Iliana, and to everyone else, thank you for listening. And we'll see you for the next episode of Ren Behind the Practice.